Boy, this is one of those times I wish we're on Facebook Live. Lisa Meadows is here. You brought a bird and a possum with you.
I did.
Yeah.
So we have some really great programs coming up this month related to birds of prey. I brought my Cooper's hawk with me, and I also brought our possum pelt because we have both programs are kind of related to some programs coming up in about a week or actually just over the month. So how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. I'm not doing... Well, I'm actually doing much better than the possum is at this moment. Is that a hat by chance? Could it be a hat?
It could be. I saw one that was turned into a purse over the weekend
when
I was at the Renaissance Festival.
Really? Okay, then. So Lisa Meadows, Yellow Creek State Park, we get the chance to visit with her from time to time, and it's always interesting because we don't get much chance to get out into nature, and here's this wonderful park, Yellow Creek State Park. The lake itself, the area around it, it's such a treasure. Tell us about the programs that you have coming up this month.
So, hey, Todd. So we have a really two awesome programs coming up on Saturday. One is called Vias for Vulture, How to Make Dead Things Disappear. As we're getting closer to Halloween, we have many people don't appreciate the beauty of vultures and how they help clean up our state roadways and get rid of all the roadkill that we're seeing around the area. So we thought we'd do a little fun program on it. And then in the afternoon on Saturday, Ann Van Dyke is coming in from Critter Camp. She's doing a program called Awesome Possum, where she's bringing her live possum in to talk with families and learn all about Pennsylvania's only marsupial. So if you're available on Saturday at 1:30, come on out to the Environmental Learning Center at Yellow Creek State Park, and you can hang out with our buddies, the possums. She's planning on bringing a number of baby possums that you'll be able to get up close to, which is really awesome. Some other great programs coming up. Everybody hears a lot about sustainability, especially here in Indiana County. We actually have a really new program coming out. It's called Harvest to Use with Timber at Blue Spruce Park. That's coming up on Saturday the 14th. That program is going to be presented by retired IUP professor Chris Weiland and current staff Todd Steffi. They're using fallen trees in the park and turning them into usable lumber for all kinds of projects at Blue Spruce Park, including how to build an arbor, a trellis, and some other really unique garden features. So if you're into sustainability, that would be a really neat one to check out on the 14th. We also have an owl prowl that same night. So after you do the Harvest to Use Timber program, come join us for the owl prowl at Blue Spruce Park. In fact, tonight I'm going out and looking for owls before the program to see what's hooting in the park.
So you're going to be there all alone at Blue Spruce.
I think Ed Patterson will be with me for a little bit. So
you and Ed are going to go owl searching.
Yes, we are.
Somebody's hearing this, and they're going to hide somewhere in the park and imitate their owl.
That would be awesome, because I need somebody that can do good owl calls.
Oh, yeah?
So if anybody knows anybody that's really good at doing owl calls, please let me know at the park. We could use you as a volunteer.
How's your screech? That's the thing. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, so that's this Saturday. Okay.
Not the owl prowl, the possum program and the vulture program.
And the vultures.
Those other two programs will be next week, Saturday.
Okay.
So,
alrighty.
We have another program too I'd really like to talk about, if that's okay with you, Todd.
Sure.
Many of you remember Patrick Snickles as your wildlife conservation officer here in Indiana County before he was promoted. He is going to be doing a really neat program called Wildlife Crimes, What and Warden's Perspective. That's going to be on Friday, September 20th. From 7 to 8 p.m. out at the Environmental Learning Center. This is a program that requires pre-registration. It's geared for adults and teens. But if you're interested in learning about the history of conservation law enforcement, the progression of law enforcement techniques in wildlife crime, and also current technologies used to solve real wildlife cases, come on out. But remember, this program is pre-registration, so if you want to learn about that, you can go to our Facebook page or just Google Yellow Creek State Park events, and you can find my email on there.
Are we talking mostly about poaching?
poaching has a lot to do with it, but there's a lot of other wildlife crimes that happen as well that people may not be aware of. It's actually if I remember this correctly, the third most common crime in the world is wildlife crimes.
Really?
People aren't aware of that.
Wow.
So the wildlife trade, I should say illegal wildlife trade, is a much bigger crime than most people realize.
Okay. I know in Erie County they had an eagle that got shot and killed.
Okay.
About a month ago.
Okay.
And so that's what we think of, but there certainly are poaching crimes that are happening all the time, all year long.
Yes, there is.
And there are other types of crime having to do with wildlife.
There is. In fact, there's a large illegal pet trade that's happening. In fact, many species are becoming endangered, especially in I should say I know more about in the herps, the salamander, snakes, and things like that, parrots as well. And that's a big part of wildlife crime is the illegal pet trade, that they're being taken out of the environment and then being sold as pets to people. And by the time people get them, oftentimes they're not in very good condition. So it's a huge problem that many people aren't aware of.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so that program is on September the 20th. That's a Friday night.
It is.
And to register, go to your Facebook page.
Yep, they can go through our Facebook page.
Okay, your Facebook page, what's the title of it?
If you just look up Yellow Creek State Park, official DCNR page, or just Yellow Creek State Park, it'll be one of the first ones that pops up in the Google search.
Okay. All right, there you go. So those are a couple of programs coming up. You have other things?
We do. We have some really exciting things. We actually have a live barn owl coming to Yellow Creek State Park on Friday, September 27th. If you've never seen a barn owl up close and personal, their nickname is the Ghost Owl, mainly because when most people first came to America, we'll say when they settled in this area in the early 1700s and 1800s, barn owls would come in and they have a really, they're very quiet. So the only time you notice them is if they feel threatened and they're sitting on a nest. They make some very interesting owl calls. It's not even a screech. I can't even describe it to you. But they thought that was ghost. So
I've heard it because I've been in the barn milking cows and happened to look up, and there have been times when you see one that it's sitting there watching. It's not making a sound. If you get too close, it'll make a sound.
Oh yes, it very much will.
Yeah. Sometimes you think that it's not real, but it is.
Yeah, they're an awesome bird.
So you got to actually have one.
We are. Actually, a good friend of mine is a retired Pennsylvania State Park educator. Wendy Ebersol is bringing in her barn owl from eastern Pennsylvania. His name's Piper, or her name is Piper, and she'll be able to meet with people. Will be able to learn all about barn owls and get up close and personal and ask questions.
So, not of the owl. The owl will not answer your questions, but Wendy will.
Wendy will. Wendy's great. So
when is that program?
That will be on Friday, September 27th.
Okay.
And we have another really neat program I'd like to promote if you guys have don't mind.
Sure.
We are doing our first ever raptor workshop. Raptors are birds of prey, falcons, hawks, eagles, and owls.
You brought one with you.
I did. And this program is geared for people that want to learn all about birds of prey. It's going to be on Saturday, September 28th from 9 to 1:30. This program is geared for teens and adults. We're going to do a day of raptor watching. We'll go out for a couple hours and go look for birds of prey that are migrating through Yellow Creek. After that, Anthony... if you guys know Anthony, I'm freezing on Anthony's last name at the moment. He's here at the radio station.
Oh, Anthony Frazier?
Yeah, Anthony Frazier is going to be coming in and doing a program on birds of prey from all the pictures he takes. So if you're into nature photography, that'll be part of that. And then Wendy Ebersol will be in the afternoon and talk more about Piper, and people will be able to get up close and personal and take pictures of a live owl. So we're really excited about that. The Falcons, Eagles, Hawks, and Owls Raptor Workshop will be on Saturday, September 28th. That program definitely requires pre-registration.
Okay. All right. So, again, the Facebook page will do that for you. Turn that one away from me because it's looking at me judgmentally. It's looking at me like you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm often a little intimidated by our birds of prey.
Yeah.
So, but they're actually Cooper's hawks live right here in Indiana. They're real common. I should say they're a fairly common bird of prey that can be hanging out in the branches above your yard. They're a woodland bird. So if you happen to live at the edge of town, you might have a greater chance of seeing them.
Good for mice.
Good for mice. They'll also go after small birds. So if you ever want to watch a soap opera at your bird feeder, if you ever see one of these guys coming through, it might be one of them too. But they're really fun to watch, and they're amazing hunters.
He just moved. I saw it. Okay.
So
maybe he didn't. But at any rate, you can check out your Facebook page for any of these programs.
Yes.
And the DCNR site as well.
You can also just Google Yellow Creek State Park events, and we have a regular web page. You can find everything on there as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm glad you brought those guys in with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The possum really didn't have much to say.
No, the possum. We're hoping one day maybe we can find a taxidermied mount of a possum to have at the park. So if anybody knows somebody getting rid of one, let us know.
We certainly see enough of them along the roads.
Yes, we do.
The pre-taxidermy possums, as long as they don't have tire tracks all over them, that they're easy to find.
They are. We prefer the live ones, though. They're just walking around and eating ticks. They're really good at tick control.
I hear that. If you have possums, they help to control the tick population.
They do. They eat up to, I think they said, between 4,000 and 6,000 ticks a year. So if you definitely might like them in your backyard to help get rid of those problems.
Right. They're doing the job. Just don't get underneath the porch. We don't like that part.
That is a challenge to deal with.
The possum and the skunk and the coons, they can stay off the property.
Well, if you seal up the gaps underneath your porch, that's a good way to keep them out. In fact, that's a regular conversation I have with people about keeping critters out of their house in the winter is seal up the cracks and seal the spaces they like to go under.
Fall is coming up, of course, and pretty rapidly. So I would imagine that in October you're going to have all kinds of fall programs.
We are. We're really excited. We haven't posted a lot of our October programs yet, but I can tell you a couple. We're doing a fall salamander hike, which I'm really excited about. This is through Friends of the Parks, and another one that people might enjoy. This will kind of be the Spirits Along the Hoodlebug. It's a great fundraiser for Indiana County Parks. I would encourage anybody, if you enjoy the trail system around here, to definitely check out the Spirits Along the Hoodlebug, and you can learn more about that through Friends of the Parks.
Absolutely. In fact, I think we're trying to get them on. It's just the schedule is so jam-packed that every time they select a date, somebody's already taken it. So, so we'll get them in here.
I hope so.
We'll keep working at it. Lisa, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for bringing your pals, too.
Thanks.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM.